Okay. So as part of this backend development, we are in session 5. So here we are implementing post API in employee controller for saving the employee details in the database. And also we are going to add one helper class to convert the detail from the front end request objects to the database models. That is nothing but DTOs to entity. Okay. So let me open the STS here. So here you can add a request mapping. So whatever the URL, the request URL coming from the front end, you need to define here first. So based on that only URL will come. So request mapping. So in the request mapping, you need to give the URI part. Sorry, URI part. So here API / employees. Okay, API / employees. Fine. Here you can add one method. The first API called public response entity of an object. Okay, I will tell you why it is taking. Okay, object response entity of object. Create employee. This request body is nothing but at the rate request body. Request body we are taking. What is the request body? Employee DTO. Yeah, let me import those things. So it is giving error because of this return new response entity. New response entity of this object. New response of entity of so what we will give HTTP status dot created. So here you can add successfully created employee. Okay, that's fine. Format this. Okay, so here you can add post mapping. This is the create post this is the create API, right? So here it is a post mapping. The value will be okay, simple / API employees, the post will be here. So here it is. So from where you need to pass this DTO in employee service. So auto avoid that. I will tell you what is this auto avoid. Employee service. Sorry. Service dot create employee here. Create employee of DTO we are sending. Fine, right? So here you can see we are calling this create employee method by passing this DTO. It is coming from the as a request body from the front end. That's fine. Auto void. So from here we are calling the employee service, right? In previously before SpringBoot, here whatever the dependent class we need here, that is which means employee service we need. Why? Because if you want to pass the DTO to the service layer, where the service layer is going to give the assurance to call the database related functionalities, and it will save this information, right? So for that we need to create a service class here, and we need to call that method. How we are calling a method from the service any class? By creating object for that, right? But here we are not creating object for this. Who will create? Spring container will create. Okay, when will it will create? Whenever you are requested dynamically. So this process is called Spring IOC, inversion of control, which means Spring IOC. Okay, Spring IOC, IOC, Spring IOC. This concept is called Spring IOC, inversion of control, which means previously the control was taken by the developer to create the object for the service class and pass the call the method and pass this object. Now we are not taking the control to create this object. We are delegating that control to the Spring container, which means the control is reversed. So that is the reason it is called, this concept is called Spring IOC, inversion of control. So how can we achieve this inversion of control? By setter methods as well as by auto-void of this. Auto-void means inject the service here. So in these two ways we can achieve this concept. So we are going to use annotation instead of adding a method, a setter method for this. So this is what Spring IOC. Using the Spring IOC, we are going to call inside these objects, inside these methods, by we are passing this object as this in this body. So whatever the methods are existing here, okay, whatever the methods are existing here, we are going to call the respective APIs, but we are not creating object for this. We are delegating that opportunity to the Spring container. Spring container will take care about to create this object dynamically, which we with the help of Spring containers. Okay, that's fine. That is what Spring IOC. And coming to service IMPL, okay, service IMPL. The same way we need to add repository also here. Employee repository. Sorry, here the auto-void, right? Auto-void. Auto-void employee repository. Repo, that's fine. So here we can take this. We can take this what it is taking. You can see here. Employee entity. Okay, employee entity it will take. Employee entity it will take. Let me say this. Okay, coming here. So repo dot save. Repo dot save method. How it is the save method is coming? I will tell you. Okay. So if you go to this repository, it is extended from the JPA repository. It is coming from the Spring data. If you go here, it is, if you go here, this is the library classes. If you go here, wide flash, save and flash all, it is a list of entities. Okay, delete by batch, list of entities you can delete by batch. Okay, delete by ID, delete all by ID. Okay, delete all. Okay, delete all by batch. Okay, so some kind of free methods, existing methods are there. You can go to the CRUD repository here. In the list CRUD repository, you will have a CRUD repository here. So many classes it is extended. So here we are have a save method. Save entity. Entity means database entity here. Like that, save all. We can save the list of employees here or list of entities. Whether it is an employee object, whether it is a customer object, whether it is a payment object, any kind of object treating as an entity, we can save it as find by entity, find by ID. So we can find that object by passing an ID, right? Find all method is there. So like that, it is a predefined method. So we no need to create a database queries for this. That Spring Data JPA will take care of these dynamic queries. Okay. So coming to here. So now you will have a clear picture why we are using the save method by passing an entity. So how the entity will come? Entity here, as of now, null. Define the null. Okay. Okay, fine. So here you need to write a mapper class or the transformation class here. So where is the mapper? So we are not added a mapper. So add the mapper package here. Package mapper. The mapper, you can create a class called employee mapper or helper. Employee mapper. Then in the employee mapper, you can add public. So it should give the employee entity as a return type. Map to entity. Map to entity from the DTO. It will take input as a it is taking the DTO. It will map the will convert the so employee entity. You can create an employee entity. Sorry. Entity equals to new employee entity. So you can return here. Return type of this entity, right? Return an employee entity. Employee entity. So you need to set all the values. Set employee ID. So from the DTO, you are getting from the front end. Get whether you are setting ID or not setting, the Spring data will take care about this ID. It will automatically generate, but we are saving this in terms of update method. We are reusing this method, so that is the reason I'm adding. So first name, that's fine. Let me add. Sorry. Let me add last name. Here also it is last name. Fine. Let me copy and add again. Here it is the email. Here it is the email. Okay. Let me add the skills also. Simple. So you can add static. So no need to create an object for this auto-add this one. So directly we can call skills. It will be the that's fine. So it is returning employee entity here. So map to entity, right? Copy this class, go to service IMPL. So entity, it should give the entity, right? Employee helper dot map to entity or convert to entity. Anything we can write. So DTO it is coming, right? So it is simply it is taking as a DTO. Simply you can write whatever you want, right? You can pass this entity here. See how simple it is. Okay. If you know what you want to write, you can write anything. That is the understanding of that any kind of functionality, right? So we are converting whatever the request object coming here in employee mapper. We are converting as an entity, and we are taking finally we are having employee database model here. Simply we are saving the report dot entity here. So this is what we are completely implemented one API in the controller, one API in the controller. The next we will take care about to add how to test this API by adding documentation for this create employee method or post mapping this API. We are adding this REST Swagger documentation for this API, and we will check this how it is saving how the saving is happening through this API, and we will also check that records are properly created in the database or not. Okay. Yeah. Thank you.